Hi folks, thanks for tuning in. I just thought I'd give you an update on the luggage I've been using on my Voge donkey for this trip in Morocco. I've had a couple of inquiries about it, so I'll go into a bit more detail about what's worked and how I needed to change things, and I'll show you more. So this is my U-bag. The colour, well, I had no choice. My friend sold me this for 60 euros in Portugal and it was brand new. And that's the colour, but it's very bright. It's sort of high vis in a way, but it's 60 litres capacity and it's got a big zip, runs all the way down both sides, very long zip, and I find it's been really good. It all comes off in one piece. I've got a system to attach it, which includes about 3 straps now and a couple of clips, and that works really well. I'll show you the packing of it later. The whole bag with my clothes weighed 14 kilogram. I weighed it before I left. What's worked? Well, this net, this elastic octopus has been useful. Now, before I left, I was going to put a small rucksack on the back, and I thought, no, I don't need that. I'm going to be using, as little as possible. I want to be as minimalist as possible, and everything fitted in the U-bag. However, when I stopped at Medelt and went to explore the trails, I thought, I need a day pack, and I didn't have one, apart from my tank bag, which wasn't enough because I wanted to take, because it was so cold, I thought if I get stuck out here somewhere, I need to take a down jacket, a woolly hat and a pair of training shoes to walk in, as just in case. So I bought this rucksack and it was only like 15 euros. It's not waterproof, but it's done the job. And the other thing I found was in my boots, walking up and down stairs, and there's been a lot of them, with my luggage and everything to load the bike, etc. They're not, great for walking up and down stairs in. They're Alpine Stars Tech 7s, and they were very squeaky when I first got them. I've sorted that now. But I thought, no, so I decided to wear trainers, put all the other luggage on the bike, and then bring this down last. Swap my trainers in the room to my boots, then bring this down last, strap it on there, and that made the whole procedure a bit more comfortable. So that worked. The fuel can, 3-litre fuel can, have I needed it? Absolutely no. Complete waste of space and time on this trip, because I've not been heading off into the desert on my own into the middle of nowhere. There's always gas stations, and with the range of the bike, I know I can do 240 kilometers before I should start filling up, and I know it'll go further to 270. So I've been always filling up. Whenever I stopped for the night, I filled up. So I've always had fuel. I didn't need this. I'd been carrying fuel in that ever since I left Portugal, and halfway around, when I got halfway around my trip, I thought, what am I doing? So I put it in the tank, and so it's now empty, just sitting there. So it actually has been a waste of space to lug it around. Not necessary, even on a bike this size with a small fuel tank. There's loads of gas stations here. What I haven't mentioned before is I've got a leg bag for this trip, and I've never had one before. That has been invaluable. Money's in there, and a little notebook, my phone goes in there, my passport's in there. It's always on my leg. I've used it around town, so you've always got everything with you. You can put keys in there. I would highly recommend one of those on any motorcycle ride now. Brilliant thing. And of course I've got my rucksack, which has mostly got water in and a first aid kit. And in the tank bag, a few bits and pieces, tyre pump, bits of this, bits of that, spare spark plug and stuff. On the side of the bike, in here, strapped on here, has been there the whole trip, is my tyre irons and a couple of sockets. And on the other side is my toolkit, strapped on there, and that's my luggage. And I would use this U bag. I'll show you it in detail when I get to my accommodation. But that's been a great machine, great bag, really good bag. So this is the U bag, and as you can see, it's not a lot to it. Scrunch it up. Weighs very little. It's made of sturdy material, plastic, rubbery stuff, which should be waterproof. I've not been rained on. It has these two little pouches on top. It's got all these U fasteners here. I've got carabiners on my lower two. That's how I attach it to the foot pegs. It's got this big zip which runs all the way around. So that's it. That's the U bag itself, and it doesn't come with any straps. You have to work that out yourself, and it doesn't come with any inners either. And the only reason I got this bag, as I've said a couple of times now, is a friend was selling it for €60 brand new, so I thought I'd just try it, and it's been well worth the money, honestly. I'll show you what goes in it. So in here is my lube, which I'm using heavy duty gear oil, SE90. I've done a lot of research. There's a little bottle in there, and that's lasted right through this trip, and I've given it several lubes. The WD-40 I've used occasionally, a pair of working gloves, and these are my spares, spare rear brake pads, spare front and rear wheel bearings and seals, and spare oil filter. So far, not needed. Worth bringing though, and that's all kept in this little bag. And I've got two inner tubes, front and rear. It's amazing how bulky and heavy they are. And then there's my Y prop for getting the rear axle supported. Very useful piece of kit. In this bag here, my iPad, my routes book, which I've not used, unfortunately, never mind. The map I have used very regularly, it's very worth having. In this little bag, I've got my charging setup. That's a multi-charger, very useful. Various charging cables for the GoPro, and phone and iPad, etc. And there's the chargers for the GoPro batteries. Clothing. What did I bring with me? A duck down jacket, quilted jacket, a micro fleece, that's a lightweight sports jacket for warmer times, 2 Helly Hansen next to skin warm tops, 2 lightweight merino wool long sleeve tops. Over here, a pair of warm jog pants, lightweight hiking trousers for the warmer temperatures, a very lightweight hiking windproof smock. I've actually brought 2 cotton t-shirts and 2 merino wool lightweight t-shirts. These are normally, merino wool is what I normally wear for riding in. For a pair of walking shoes, a pair of Crocs, very useful for in cold apartments when you're nipping to the toilet at night. These are the thermal liners shorts for the riding trousers, and they have been in the U-bag for some time. Various boxer shorts, I think I brought 4 pairs in total. Socks, these are waterproof socks, not needed yet for in the riding. Warm socks for in the apartment, and I've got a couple of pairs of lightweight cooler socks. I brought a woolly hat and a pair of gloves for around town and some handkerchiefs. And all this that you see here, apart from the shoes, go in these 2 bags, and I'll show you how I do that. And the bits that are missing in there, out on the line, boxer shorts, t-shirt, summer socks. The other 2 pairs of socks are my merino wool motorcycling socks. I brought a spare pair of them. And these are the extras I bought since I arrived. The obligatory Morocco t-shirt, When I got to Sydney by the beach, I needed some beach shorts, and I also brought these leather flippy floppy things because it's been pretty warm in some places. This scrunch bag is also a pretty useful piece of kit. It's waterproof and it's got a valve on it which you scrush it all down, compress the size of everything, and close the valve and it seals it up. And I already had these, but I have two of them, and they just happen to be just right for going inside this U-bag. Of course, I'm not putting everything in the U-bag because I am wearing at least one layer of something or other under my riding gear, and that varies depending on temperature. Normally it starts bloody cold in the mornings and can warm up later. So what I have been doing, because I bought that other little rucksack, was keeping like a spare layer to change into with my training shoes in the small rucksack. So it's not all gone in the U-bag. It did initially, but I changed my load as I bought the new rucksack. So first of all, I start by rolling everything up, the army roll, then stuffing it in the bag. So this is where you scrunch the bag up, open the valve, roll it over. It says how many times at the top, 3 times I think. Close it up and squash it down. And you never know if somebody's listening in what they think you might be squashing down. And that is that. That completely changes. That's the clothes from one side. And this little stuff sack, which I've had years for mountain walking, is where I put my quilted jacket in. And it all goes in there. Like so. So the first thing to go in, front left-hand side, heavy, bulky item, the lubes and spares, the Y prop. Then I put the clogs fit in there, Crocs. And then what I do is I pull the zipper up, so it's not straining the zip so much. Shove one clothes bag in there and push it right down as far as it will go. Squash it in there. Then is the inner tubes. Shorts for the thermal shorts for the riding trousers. And at some point there'd also be my little charging bag which takes up nothing. There's my quilted jacket if I'm not going to be wearing it riding. Do the zip up, stuff in the other bag, then the thing I forgot to tell you about, my personal wash bag, which is normally chock-a-block with stuff. Potions, lotions and shaving stuff and all that. And then I can put the sports top in here if I'm not deciding to keep it in the backpack, changing when I'm riding. Last but not least goes in there is the iPad and box. And that is it, fully loaded, and I weighed that before I left home. When it's fully full, 14 kilograms. It's amazing. And I have used every item of clothing at some point because I've not always had a chance to wash. So having 2 of everything, tops has worked. I try to wash my clothes as often as I can, but it's not always been possible, depending on where I've stayed. There we go, and I'm still puffing from all that effort. Well, I have been asked about this U-bag, and what's it like to get, is there room on the bike with it on? Bearing in mind it's forward at the minute because I've got the fuel can, which I won't be using again, and it's also higher because of this backpack, which without the fuel can it does go further back and give you more space, but as it is, there's plenty. And what I like about it is you've got your weight, instead of being back here on side panniers at the back of the bike, the weight's forward and low, so that's better for the balance and everything. Anyway, here we go, get on. Now, I've had my side van stand reinforced since it fell over and bent the stand a bit, so I'm now using the pegs to get on and off quite happily, because I need to, because of the height of the thing. Anyway, here we go. So as you can see, plenty of room, move forward, back, plenty of room, no problem whatsoever. And standing up, where's the weight? Standing up is fine as well. There we go.